So good afternoon to all of you. I hope you had a reasonably good lunch. Because of the problem of LPG, many of the restaurants had difficulty, so we have been able to organize the best possible food. Can that be closed? I think the lunch has to be over. They can't be serving that. ಇದು ಆಗಿಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ಸಾಕು ಬಿಡಿ, ಸಾಕು. Now I heard that of the 40 people that we had selected, 10 could not come, perhaps, because the registration shows only 30 people have been registered, right? So it is possible that they may be coming late, or we can include a few others later on. I hope all of you have got your lecture notes also. Now, this workshop is an interactive workshop. It's not a class. That is, I'm not going to teach. I'm going to only make a presentation. And that presentation, as Professor Srinivas in the morning was mentioning, it's about the pre-Siddhantic period, or it would be called before the Common Era, before the Christian era, so to say. To have a intuitive feeling to what could be that, you think of Kautilya, you think of Maurya, you think of Chandragupta. You will get an idea. That is the before Common Era. Now, the key points of the Common Era, before Common Era, is that as far as we are concerned, there were no weekdays. That is, the names like Sunday, Monday, Bhānuvar, Somvar, that kind of thing was not there. Because people could manage with only the Paksha. Paksha was the most important thing. We will come to that. I'm just giving you a brief so that you have to take yourself to the past. You have to project yourself. Similarly, there were no Rashis, no Mesha, Vrishabha, no horoscope. So, even if astrology was there, definitely astrology was there, but no horoscope astrology of kind. There was prediction, there was a forecasting, prognosis was there. That was of a different kind. What was that? To some extent we will see in this. Now, before I formally start, because the lecture notes give something more than what I am going to present here. In the beginning, I have to start always with the Vedic text. As Professor Srinivas was telling in the morning, if you go back little bit backwards, you come to the Vedanga Jyotiṣa of Lagadha, which is rightly called Archa Yajusha Jyotiṣa. It is not the only Vedanga Jyotiṣa. You will see that Mahāsalila and Parāśara Tantra are Vedanga Jyotiṣa. For that, you have the text with you. So if there is anything you can open out when I talk about it, you will see that, and hopefully in the evening you read some of this. And for before that, before 1800 BC, before Mahāsalila, what was the kind of Jyotiṣa which was there? What was the astronomy which was there? That is purely Vedic. Because the Maitrani Āraṇyaka, as he was mentioning, is 1800 BC, the Magadhi era. What was the thing which was before that? That is a very tough thing to introduce. So that I have not given any detailed notes. It is there. But it is a kind of, not textbook kind of thing. It is more, to some extent, cultural. To some extent, you know all of that already, but you may be having a different perception about it. We will come to that slowly. And I am telling this because we have to know your background also is important, not just my background, not just what I think about it. So I start with the first thing is going to be your introduction. You people have to introduce yourself, because I know there are physicists, there are going to be historians here, there are others also of various kind, and from different places. In the morning I said already there are 14 states are represented in this. And this is important. Our founder chairman, Dr. Chenraj Roychand, who could not come in the morning, is here. So after so we welcome you, sir. I mean, he had an important meeting in Bombay, so he had to go, and he arrived only this morning. He could not reach in time, from the airport. But he had taken interest, and even in such things, as I mentioned in the morning, deeply interested in cultural issues. And you might have heard or you might have seen, recently there was a YouTube video, some of you might have seen. Among the 30 Jain leaders who are running this country, he is one among them. I will not embarrass him by telling anything more. He is very prominently, he is there among the so many other Jains, Adanis, Madanis, and so many. Our Chenraj is one among them. That is something of pride for us working in this place. Now, after your introduction, I will be requesting our chairman to say a few words. Then formally we will start with our lectures. Okay? So where do you start? From where? Sir, please take just 1 minute, because there are about 30. Sure. Half an hour will be over. From where you come, what is your background? That is what is name.
I am Vasudevan, I come from Bangalore, and I have no direct relation with this subject, and I have no designation because I am not working. Out of common, I am very much interested in astrology, so with that background, I hope to relate with this subject. So thank you very much.
Ellargu namaskara. I am Dr. Krishnamurthy. Originally, I am a IT person. For 20 years, I was in IT industry. Then I left and then moved into Sanskrit. I'm 57. And the last 18, 19 years, I am into Ṛgveda research, also doing farming.
Thank you. Namaskar, I'm Dr. Amita Gupta, Assistant Professor in Center for Comparative Religion and Civilization, Central University of Jammu and Kashmir. Basically, I'm an archaeologist and archaeometallurgist too. Now I'm working in the temple art and architecture of Jammu and Kashmir, and their astronomical and also their tantism part of particular area. So this workshop is going to be very good for me, because I am not very much aware of the astronomy, because literature is very important apart from archaeological evidences. So I think this workshop is very good for me. Thank you.
Namaste all, my name is Sai Kumar. I am PhD student, first year PhD students from University of Hyderabad. I am working on pre-modern hydraulic systems in integration with Vastu. So I am first year PhD student. Thank you.
Namaste everyone, I am Buddhadev Ghosh. I am coming from IIT Indore. I am a PhD student there. Before this, I have completed my integrated master's in Sanskrit from Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda University, and after that I did my MPhil from IIT Bombay. Now I am pursuing my PhD with Professor Ganti S. Murthy. I am working on traditional rain prediction methods.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Dr. Raju Kumar. I came from Delhi, Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi. I am assistant professor there in physics department. I'm kind of interested from past 1 year to understand the things that the government of India is initiated in terms of Indian knowledge system and all. And I also started working, since my PhD was in experimental nanoscience, so I started working to explore nanoscience in the ancient things. And in the same thing, I just want to understand also the Indian astronomy. So that's came to me here. Thank you.
Hello sir, hello everyone. I am Saurabh More from Pune. I have just completed my master's in physics and have also done bachelor's in Sanskrit. So I guess and ancient Indian astronomy is really an interest of mine, and I look forward to get more knowledge from him about this subject. Thank you.
Namaskar everyone, this is Anshuman Singh from Jain University, currently doing their BTech, and I'm extremely interested in astrophysics and space, so yeah, that's why I'm attending here.
They are attending informally. They didn't register, but they have come. Yes, good, anyway.
Namaste and good afternoon, everyone. I am Vinamrata. I'm doing my third year in mechanical engineering, which is out of context from everybody sitting here. But yes, I've worked on projects that deal with stable periodic orbits for a three-body system. Again, it's related to space. And I'm also working on material science. So Jain University integrated IKS as a subject for us, and I am taking that elective. So I feel this workshop is going to be extremely fruitful. Thank you.
I think the ladies in front should also introduce themselves.
Namaste, I'm Rupa Ramesh. I did my PG Diploma in Personal Management, did my MA in Sanskrit, and now with Professor Iyengar sir in CAHC department. Thank you.
Hello, namaste everyone. I'm Smita Bhatta. I have done my engineering in electrical and electronics, and I did my MA in Sanskrit also. Now I am working with Professor. Thank you very much.
Namaste everybody, I am Vani. I did my BE in computer science from Bengaluru University, and just recently I joined CAHC. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I am Ṛgveda. I was working in IT industry for 20 years. Now since last 8 years I am with Āraṇyaka, working and researching on different ancient manuscripts and writing Sanskrit stories and Sanskrit books. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Nanda from Jain University, working in engineering college. As my students, they said that IKS is one of the elective, and my PhD was on 8 contemporary philosophers and 4 religion. Jain is one of the Jain philosophy also. Then from then I never got an opportunity to work in my PhD area. I'm an educationist basically, so I was with all apex institutions, but Jain I settled down coolly. This is my 9th year, and I'm very, very grateful. And today I just came to attend the inaugural session, but Iyengar sir said, you can just continue registering, so I registered. Thank you all. And my area is human values and excellence. That is it. Thank you.
Namaskaram and good afternoon to one and all. I am Dr. Mangalam from Tamil Nadu. I am working in an engineering college, Coimbatore Institute of Technology, and I teach physics. And I am always fascinated towards astronomy. I did my MSc project in astronomy 20 years back, and after 20 years, a door has been opened for me. Looking forward. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. I'm Subramanian. I'm basically from IT background, worked for corporates, and now I'm on my own. And in astronomy and heritage temple architecture is something very close to my heart. I follow Professor Iyengar, Professor Srinivas, all of their online courses, discourses. It started off with, getting to know more about Bhadraganita from Professor Ramasubramanian series. That's what started my interest, and it one leading to the other, all the way to the astronomy. And I'm looking forward to this session. Thanks for accommodating me.
Namaste. My name is Geeta. I'm from Bengaluru. Basically, I'm from IT profession. I have worked in corporates for 20 plus years. And during COVID, I started my journey with Sanskrit and started learning. And recently, I have completed MA in Sanskrit and aspirant to continue my journey with Sanskritam, and this came up, and that is why I have landed here. Thank you.
Namaste, I'm Dr. Bhavna, Ayurveda doctor and assistant professor in Government Ayurveda Medical College, here to understand astronomy.
Namaskaram to one and all. I am Charumati, a first year PhD student from IIT Madras. I am a student of Dr. Aditya sir. Before that I had a work experience of 8 years in Standard Chartered Bank. Then I had a career break like most of the women after their wedding, and then I did my MA Sanskrit and MPhil Sanskrit. Now I am wanted to pursue this.
She has come from Calcutta, says Swami.
Namaste to all. I'm Dr. Jinesh Shekhar, coming from Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram. I am serving with Indian Space Research Organization's Department School as a Sanskrit teacher, school teacher. Thank you.
Namaskaram. I am Subramanian from Bangalore. My background is I am a mechanical engineer from IIT BHU. Now I have retired from, as an official from oil industry. And it has always been my passion to trace, the greatness of our civilization. So I'm actually seriously thinking of writing a book in which I want to bring out the Puranic stories and the hidden, this astronomical significance and even geological significance also, which I found in various Puranas. I hope this particular workshop will really add knowledge and value to me. Thank you.
Namaste, my name is Sundar Chakravarti. I am a researcher at CAHC. I work with Professor Iyengar and my other colleagues. In my earlier life, I was a software engineer, and I have an interest in astronomy, and that brought me to this place, and I enjoy working here. Thank you.
Namo Namaha. My name is Pravrajika Asakta Prana, and currently I am the monastic faculty in Department of Sanskrit at Ramakrishna Sarada Mission, Vivekananda Vidya Bhavan Girls College in Calcutta.
Jaitu Shri Ramaha. My name is Abhishek Sharma and I came from Himachal Pradesh. I did my bachelor and PG in Jyotish and pursuing right now MA in Phalit Jyotish. Thank you. From Center Sanskrit University.
Good afternoon. Namaste. I am Ram. I am from Bangalore. By profession, I am a software engineer and I am also an amateur astronomer. I have my own tiny little observatory in Bangalore where I do a bit of astronomy, and also one of my areas of interest has been Indian astronomy along with radio astrophysics.
Hi everybody, this is Sneha from Bangalore. I have completed my BSc in physics long time ago. Been in IT, currently a full-time farmer. I have been interested in astronomy since my childhood days, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, to understand much better.
Namaste, I'm Ranjan Bhatt. I'm interested in astronomy and health. Namaste everyone.
Namaste, my name is Abhiram. So I have done my PG astrology in National Sanskrit University, Tirupati. So astrology relates to this astronomy, so that's why I'm here.
Hello everyone, my name is Anupriya. By profession, I'm a UX designer. Basically, I design websites, apps, and products for the last 15 years. But I'm also interested in creating awareness and content on things like mythology or ancient culture narratives, prehistory, and also astronomy and space exploration. I like connecting scholarly work to public and seeing how it can be experienced in a new way. So yeah, really happy to be here and learn more.
Vikram mera naam, Betal mera kaam, Caterpillar Chennai, Butterfly Bangalore. I don't have any job, I don't work anywhere. I work in the area of Katha Parampara, and every time you tell a story, how does the first line of a story start? Louder. Time and astronomy are connected, that's why I'm here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sana Pushkar Rawat. I come from Delhi. I'm doing my master's right now in linguistics from Jawaharlal Nehru University. And why astronomy? Because way back when I was in 6th class, I wanted to be an astronomer, and then science happened in 11th, 12th, and I lost interest. So this is my way of reconnecting with that lost interest of mine. Thank you.
Namaste. My name is Devu A.S., coming from Kerala, Tiruvandhuram. I am pursuing my PhD from University of Kerala, Tiruvandhuram. I am doing my research on in this field, Indian astronomy.
Hello, I am Dr. Amal. I am not a registered participant. She is my wife. I just accompanied her. I am a medical doctor. Thank you.
Sarvebhyo Namo Namaha. My name is Dr. Pravesh Vyas. I am teaching in Department of Vastu Shastra, Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri National Sanskrit University, New Delhi.
Sarvebhyo Namaha. My name is Shivani Sharma and I'm here currently from the Central Sanskrit University, Delhi. I'm a graduate in law and I have done Shastri Acharya and Phalit Jyotisham. Currently pursuing PhD under IKS theme from Central Sanskrit University, Delhi itself. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Arpisha Ambavija. I am from Delhi. Completed my master's from Delhi University. In Sanskrit, my specialization was Ved. Thank you.
Namaste, Dr. Rajat from Bangalore itself. My training is in electronics engineering with a PhD in VLSI. Currently, I'm working in ancient Indian mathematics at Saraswatam. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. आप सबको और आप सबके अंदर विराजमान पर ब्रह्म को मेरा नमस्कार, आदरणीय नमस्कार. मेरा नाम डॉक्टर किंजल पटेल है. आई एम बेसिकली belong to physics background. I completed my PhD in physics. I am serving as an assistant professor in Department of Physics, Uka-Tarsadia University since about 9 years. Before a few years, during my maternity time, I read religious books. And when I was reading that scripts, I start connecting that dots with the real science that I was teaching to the students. And to connect it more and more and to learn more about that, I joined my Master of Arts in Hindu Studies from GTU Dharohar, which is in Ahmedabad. So I'm a student to there. I'm currently in semester 4 of Hindu Studies. And right now I'm just trying to connect that dots. And astronomy is one of the things that I'm always fascinated, that how they have measured the distance that are mentioned there. So that is the reason that brings me here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sridhar. I am from Bangalore itself. I have a master's in maths and also have studied Sanskrit both during school and college. I am teaching Vedas for the past 30 years. And professionally, I am working in computers and AI. So I was trying to see how I can put all these disparate things together. And also, so two different aspects. One is with my math, Sanskrit and AI background, what can I do here in this field? Second is as part of me teaching Vedas to many students as well as adults, can I bring in some aspect of what is tangible? Rather than just teaching chanting and this part, can I relate it to science and bring it also as an awareness across people? This is what brings me here today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all of you. I'm surrounded by the scholars, and I'm opposite of that. I'm just 8th standard dropout. I was not destined to be a scholar like all of you, but I chose the path of enabling. And Āraṇyaka has been a blessing to Jain University. And very rarely you find such phenomenon who's so humble and being a scientist. Normally scientists never agree with metaphysics, but he is a scientist come metaphysical person. So you're all blessed to have his workshop at his young age, standing with you all for 4 or 5 days and training all. And in this world of uncertainty, I think you are the shining jewels. And because of these few people on this planet, I think the planet will survive, and maybe because of all of you. So I was always curious about human endeavors. What is Sanskrit? And Sanskrit goes from India, and Germany takes advantage of that and creates material wealth or creates machinery. And we only teach Sanskrit in the classroom. We only teach for the marks. And at least you have risen above that and curious about astronomy, whether you take Aryabhatta, whether you take even Sushruta, medicine. Now we talk about allopathy medicine. So everything is being taken out of India. And we had all that kind of books in Nalanda University, which took almost 6 months to even burn out. And whatever is left over is, I think you are talking this today. Imagine if those literature was there with all of you, the India would have been was the greatest country and is the greatest. But 1100 years has taken away everything. So my only curiosity was not that I didn't want to study, but I didn't want to study because it was rote learning in the classroom. Maybe you have risen above that and inquiry, inquisitiveness brought you to this level. Otherwise, it was only passing in the exam. And even today, India is having this education system only. Many of you are part of university and 1965 model they are teaching even today. And we have somehow aped. There were 6,72,000 villages. Every village there was one Sanskrit school. And the people in that society used to support the sponsorship and ensure that everybody is educated. But all the schools were systematically killed by Macaulay or whatever you call. Banaras Hindu University was a great innovation by that Mahamana, whatever we call, who was the founder of that. Madan Mohan Malviya ji. Mahamana, they given him that title. And he was a person who brought some people like Āraṇyaka. So yesterday I was with Mukesh Ambani, telling whatever you did in life, I was with your father also. Is it not our national duty to protect the country and its culture now? So we talk about extraterrestrial, we talk satellites, we talk communication, but communication is within us only. When we can talk about thinking intuitive, if you chant Om here, you can listen in America if you do with that bhava. Matlab. So our 204 trillion neurocells in body, one cell is equivalent to one encyclopedia. One encyclopedia, if you can master the art, 18,000 pages, you are a scholar of scholars. So can we impact the society, because everybody is in real life of 8 hours of mobile in a day, whether it's your child, whether it is an adult, or whether it is those who have no purpose in life. I'm happy that those 40 people or 30 who are present here is equivalent to 30 million or 30 crores also, because the rest all are going, they don't even understand what is attachment and what is detachments, material external environs, internal depth. I was talking about 7 levels of consciousness with him, but we talk only conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind. But our levels of depth from Kundalini to, and the scholars like, so there is even after all your life also you'll be able to only scratch a drop in the ocean. So that humility only will take you to the next level. So can we bring back that tradition and belief system what we had of real astronomy? You know, Chanakya, you take those days, we were best in everything. We had 10,000 scholars. We had 21 universities in India. Not only Nalanda is one of the Kanchipuram also there was one university. And the world used to come and the world has taken everything from us and giving it back to us. So we ape the society is not in 400-year-old or 200-year-old. Australia is 300-year-old. America 400-year-old. And what is happening today, you can see that. So can we bring that harmony and peace within ourselves? And our great sages, you take the latest, probably Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda. They were the scientist of scientists, and she's from Calcutta. And I got that dream in Swaminarayan temple in Calcutta. I just saw Swami Vivekananda in my dream when I was 14. When I was 22-year-old, I went to my guru and asked him, I saw the photo with my guru. I saw him in the dream. Swami Vivekananda, aapko malum hai? Then he told me about Swami Vivekananda. That is how I went to Ramakrishna Ashram next to my house in Masangudi and sat with them and understood. Then my Guru Mata, Āraṇyaka sir, Shirdi Sai Baba, and understood the basic principles of life. So if the basic principles, scholarly knowledge is good. But if it is not put into action and achar in our real life world, and if you practice, then the world will practice that. So you are from IIT. So it's not about the degrees or PhD or scholarly knowledge. It's about putting into action. Preach and practice, thought and action should to go there. Mahatma Gandhi, whatever may be the issue, political or whatever it is, but he spoke only truth in life. So some mother went to Mahatma Gandhi and told, tell my child not to eat chocolates. Gandhiji said, come next week. After next week, Gandhiji told that boy, please stop eating chocolates. It will spoil your teeth, or maybe it may not help you in your health. Then mother said, I came all the way for 30 kilometers traveling, and you could have told last week only. I had weakness for chocolates, so I wanted to experiment first in 8 days whether I can live without chocolates and sweets. So I could succeed. That's why I have the right to tell. So at least we should see the principles of that man, whatever he did. At least he followed the path of dharma or truth. He never spoke lies in his life. Even with experiments with anything, he shared it very frankly in this world. Madan Mohan Malviya ji. I think there are a lot of alumni. We celebrate Madan Mohan Malviya ji here in our campus every year. And how Mahatma Gandhi said that I am not pure, but Madan Mohan Malviya is pure. He is a Mahamana, above everybody. So can we rise above that? So Lord Krishna has said that divinity, I am with you. Consciousness, so metaphysical conditions. If a scientist can understand metaphysics well and talk and put into action, and he has followed that in life. After retirement, I spotted him. Sir, why don't you come and bless us and help us out in this? And today, I think Āraṇyaka is a legend who has been. He also got a Mahamana award last week in Shastra University. So it's a blessing to the society. And if you are with him for 5 days, if you can experience him, whatever you are going to look at the text and all, beyond that you can understand. And Swami Vivekananda always used to say, somebody asked Swami Vivekananda, page number 33 is this, page number 245. Then he said, you are a God. The disciple said, no, I am not God. When I read that, I do it with concentration so that I can remember. So that was Swami Vivekananda. And why Ramakrishna chose only Swami Vivekananda? There were more scholars than him around him. But then that bhakti and that samarpan, and that was what Ramakrishna had a vision for him, and he showed the world, sisters and brothers of America. So I don't understand the text completely, but I know in action what is possible. And that is what I had 40 rupees in my pocket. But I built this education empire, not for this degree, social certificate. It's all dowry certificate, marriage certificate, and this, all boys and girls. I like this boy, I like this girl, I leave you, I ditch you. So the Western philosophy. So 35 years, I have seen only students and teachers, only monotonous, and teachers are every year going backward by 2 years. We are advancing 2025, but they are going backwards. Because they want that same parrot they repeat in the classroom. Well, okay, that sloka, what do you mean by this? When you know the slokas, but if you don't know the meaning of it, and if you are not able to practice it, and if you are not able to thought and action, what Mahatma Gandhi preach and practice should go together. So that is what I am trying to see, whether I can get some more people like Āraṇyaka, and it's taken 35 years for me to bring such people on the platform to help you all, support all of you, and enable all of you to Atman, you think within yourself, chintan within yourself, internalization. But we are into external factors. There is a thin gap between the stimulus and response. It's a small difference. So your thoughts, and if that can be controlled, and whether it is nutrition, whether it is medicine, whether it is science, everything is there rooted in us. And we come back to this. Jainism philosophy taught about not to eat beyond 6 o'clock. Because 6 o'clock there is a light, lot of mosquitoes, microscopic, millions of mosquitoes or millions of insects. So that was the reason for your health. So 6 o'clock. But Japanese people research on that and say 18 hours do intermittent fasting and they get a Nobel Prize. Lord Mahavira didn't go for Nobel Prize. Lord Buddha didn't go for Nobel Prize. Lord Krishna didn't go for Nobel Prize. They just did their duty, dharma. So as human consciousness, if we have been 80 years or 85 years old, there is life and death. I'm sure all of you believe that after your physical body goes, you are there, your soul, you are going to take birth again, rebirth, unless you attain the complete so-called salvation or self-actualization. And self-actualization can happen in seconds. Bahubali, Lord Bahubali and Bharata, they were two brothers. But then he gave up the kingdom and said, okay, I have sacrificed everything and I have given it. But he didn't get the salvation. So his sisters climbed up to these years and told, come down from the sitting, you are sitting on an elephant, please come down. Then he realized that I have that ahankar, I have that, see, I have given to my brother all kingdom. And when he realized that, he got detached and he attained the salvation. So consciousness is within us only. We have to attain the salvation in our life. If Lord Sai Baba, anybody, the Vedanta or Upaniṣad, whatever the Ṛgvedas or whatever you talk, they say that your life and death, if you have got a human soul, you are lucky. because of your good karmas of previous. And if you are not able to encash this in your life, then life is a merry-go-round. You will come back, you go again, maybe in what species, whether I am a fossil, whether I am a grass, whether I am a dog, whether I am a human being. So human consciousness can think. Animals will follow. That's why we say that human beings are the most evolved people and the most dangerous people on the planet. Snake will only kill as if it is in danger. They will protect herself. Lion will eat only when he is hungry. So animals follow the rules, but we break the rules. And that is, you are seeing, geopolitics or whatever it is. That's fine. But still, the power of dharma and the power of meditation or the power of consciousness is so powerful. Sitting here, you can manage the whole world. But that is the power of, you can give an whole, they say that you can provide electricity from your mind to the whole Bangalore. But we need a grid, and also our grid is there. But we have to enlighten our power within ourselves. And this is the basics I can talk all of it. I cannot talk your scholarly knowledge. You have all the slokas in your mind. I can repeat some slokas, but that's fine that I have learnt it. So I chant it for my personal somewhere deviation. So 8 hours of your real life has to stop. Mobile harms the brain cells, and it is the cancerous material for us, the radiation. And if scientists can explain all these things very well. So I just have common sense. I am just an enabler. I am a catalyst. I see whether if I can just create an ecosystem and a library or knowledge, and if they can practice in life and create harmony around us, that is the life. And if you can change one person in your lifetime, you have attained your salvation. But then we cannot claim that. We can make an effort through our example. So this workshop of 5 days, I'm sure you'll go with a lot of pearls of wisdom and knowledge. Please put it into action and create an institution around you, people, movement, and bring that kind of sanity in the minds of people. This is what I see. My grandchild will, without watching the mobile, will not. So we only spoil them. So everything starts from home, value system. And that simplicity, if we can get, I'm sure your scholarly knowledge can impact the society world in action through practicals and solutions. Through science also we can bring humanity on the, so we always talk epistemology lab. So verification of the truth. That is what you are going to learn from astronomy and science. Black holes or Stephen Hawking, how much you would have heard about it. We don't even know. Earth may be a tiny dot. So we have billions of planets or billions of worlds around extraterrestrials. We don't even know about it. So we human beings are very limited in our version, but thoughts cannot be infinite. So infinite riches are all around you. If you open your mental eyes and behold the treasure house of infinity within you, there is a gold mine within you from which you can extract happily and live gloriously and abundantly with richness of mind. So thank you very much. You all have attended this. I'm sure you'll go very happy with these 5 days. At this young age, if you can stand and talk to all of you for 5 days, you should take a leaf out of his book and implement into action. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your such an inspiring talk. Thank you so much for Dr. Chenraj Roychand. Friends, you would have heard the energy which is there, which is coming up. And the important thing is that, and as far as the Center for Ancient History and Culture, which is the department where a few of us are working, it is actually his encouragement and energy and his vision which has taken us so far from 2012 to 2026, already about 14 years. Sir, we are now want to start with our course.
Go ahead. I'll be sitting.
Yeah, we have had an introduction from all of you, and you would have got a feeling how diverse this group is. And that's what I meant in the beginning. We have to come together to have a kind of a working relationship. This would happen only if you interject, you keep questions, you ask questions. If you sit passive, you may get some information, but it won't be interactive and useful. This is the first caution I want to make. So please do ask questions. And you will be evaluated based on the number of questions you ask. And please write your questions. There is a book which has been given to you, a notebook, beautiful one from Jain University, compliments of that. That is not a diary. Don't use it as a diary. Write your notes there, write your questions, show me your questions, bring your questions to us. And whatever is in the your lecture notes, you need not, go through it during the talk itself. But if you do it, I have no objection. But there will be no one-to-one correspondence between what I talk and what is going to be there. About 50% is there. There is much more than what I am going to present here. So where do we start? So it is a big question, how to start pre-Siddhantic astronomy. As I mentioned already, if you go back and back, you have to go to the Vedic sources only. So I decided I will make, in this first talk, another 20 minutes maybe till our tea break, a few things I want to mention, then continue it. There is no lecture by lecture division here. Things will be going continually, even though some numbers are put there for the sake of having a kind of a timetable. That's all the reason. So the primary source literature is what I want to present first. Change agta hai nodipa? If these lights can be switched off, maybe it may be better. Or all of you are able to see? It's okay for you? Okay, fine. See, we have to recognize, first of all, I think this may be switched off. I'm getting a glare. Okay. If all of us know how knowledge has been transferred in this country. Earliest period, it was only a Guru Shishya kind of parampara, or it is a oral tradition. That is, it's still a development of knowledge, but it was oral. Now, in that, the primary concepts which are there, we will come to this once again when we go to the Mahāsalila text. The Mahāsalila text, this is much more formally mentioned, but all through the Vedas, this concept is there. What is that concept? That is a tripartite concept. That is, the whole of this universe has three components, so to say. So the universe would include, as far as we are earthly beings are concerned, the dyauḥ, that is the celestial, and the astral. That is whatever you see at the top. Second is pṛthivī itself. That is where we are living. This is the pṛthivī. There are nuances. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I will come and talk to you again. There are nuances to these words. Later on we will see they become technical words. They are not just general Sanskrit words for which you take a meaning from the dictionary and then give so many meanings for that. It's important because pṛthivī, generally we take it as earth, that is bhumi. It is right, but in the earliest concept, pṛthivī was something which was expansive, which had widened. So the cosmographic or the cosmogony concepts which was there earliest was somewhat different. And slowly the concept of bhumi also came up. Bhumi is included in pṛthivī, but pṛthivī was a larger concept. This you have to keep in mind. But today if we say pṛthivī, it is only bhumi, it is only earth, that is how we do it. So have a kind of a, what shall I say, flexible or a resilience about these things. And then the in-between, that is the antarikṣam. Antarikṣam, as the word itself would indicate, is something which is in between. There are several definitions given for this word antarikṣam. We will go into them later on. What it means is Between the dyauḥ and the pṛthivī, whatever is there, that is the antarikṣa. It's something like a space, open space. Does it mean the whole thing is dyauḥ is also space or is not space? They are all hazy. As when you look up, we see something hazy. These things are also, initially it has been hazy, but slowly new concepts are coming in. Now, Nirukta, that is a text which belongs to the Vedanga period, as it is generally said. Because this is an introductory lecture, I am not going into the specifics. We will come to the specifics later. There's a question which comes up. How many gods are there? How many devas are there? Now, are there 3 devas or only one? Monotheism, many people say, no, there is only one God. That concept doesn't apply here. Let us be very clear on that. When the word deva is used, in English they will say gods, G-O-D-S. Somebody will say G will be, capital G is different, small g is, in the Vedic concept we will use the small g kind of thing. That I find is not, okay, if you understand it, it's fine, I have no objection, but still it is not very accurate. Reason is, Yāska, who lived somewhere in 1000 BC, approximately, we don't know his date anyway exactly, maybe even more ancient than that. He says in one place, are there 33 devas? 33 is the normal thing. We all know that there are 33 gods in there. And some people would say 33 gods are like 28 nakshatras plus 5 planets, and that makes 33. Somebody will say, no, that is not right. Hindus did not know about planets in the Vedas, so it has to be something else. Okay, let's not go into those things. Somebody will say, no, why 33? They had still larger number. 3,339 is a thing which comes. Tomorrow I am going to talk about it, not today. There are so many Vedas, gods. And if in the Purana, there is going to be something different. In the Brahmana Purana, they did not know the Veda. We will discuss that also. This is all important in this course, that there have been errors with the numbers. In the copying of the text, there have been errors in the Puranic period. Now, fortunately, the numbers which have come down to us from the Vedic period, they seem to be pakka, they seem to be perfect. Many of them can be interpreted also in a rational manner or logical manner, which is not, I would say, something different from nyaya or pramana or whatever. The same way it can be done. Nirukta Yāska says, why go to all of this? That 3 are sufficient. 3 if you assume as deva or as principle, you can say. And then what about the others? He says the others are all due to their actions, they are different. He gives an example. You have a director and then there are subordinates who are there. They also belong to the same office. There is only one office. But because of the action they take, adhikara bhedat, you will have different tables. You have a subordinates and you have others. So you can have so many devas which are like that. That is the argument he gives. And he says 3 is sufficient. Now you understand why all this comes. It is to explain the overall principle of the universe or the cosmos. So the fundamental thing that in the Vedic period, at least as far as we are concerned, is the explanation of the universe. How did they do? What are the things which are needed to explain the universe? Now, what is that universe? It is the visible universe is what we are considering, not the mental or the psychological universe. That is a separate matter. I am not going into that. But very peculiarly, you would see slowly, by the end of this workshop at least, these are all interconnected. The psychological, the physical, and also one more in between which comes, about which we are all very familiar. We think that is all about Vedas, that is all about Vedic astronomy, namely yajnas. You would have heard about yajnas, and time is needed for fixing the yajnas. And you know that concept has continued in Indian astronomy and in particularly in the Palita Jyotiṣa and the Purohits, they will fix up sometime this, that, Panchanga and all these things. I'm not going into that at all. But the basic principle with which something like what you may say the foundation which has started is here. And Yāska, you would say, further he says, for when we come to the Vedic things, the interpretations change because you have to explain everything. There is only 3 devas. What about Indra? What about Surya? What about Agni? What about Vibhavasu? And so many things which come up. There are explanations for many of them. And if you see the Brihadevata text, I'm not going into those things at all. He says, he counts something like 720 devatās, or so, the names actually. Now you see, you will understand this. If you want to identify something, you need a name. So you name something. Why do you name it like that? I mean, this you have to ponder yourself, to identify. But the identification many times happens, how? Because some person is fat, some person is beautiful, or some person is lean. Many of the words, they refer to that quality only. In other words, the gunavachaka, what you would say, that itself becomes the namavachaka, that itself becomes the name. Now, in fact, if you see the commentary of the Vedas, Bhashya, there he says, yes, I will have given some references also to that, says that one person can have different names because he has different actions. Person is an individual, so to say. Similarly, different persons can have same name because they are doing the same action. Now, what is wrong in it? Now, the interpretation of the Veda, as it is done, in many places, these problems we face. And particularly when it comes to the astronomical issues, and particularly when we talk of Deva. Deva today we think it is all for worshipping, to do puja, to keep an icon, and then tell some mantras and do puja. It can all be done, there is no problem. After all, that is the derivative of the yajnas which previously people had, and they have been reduced in some manner through the grihya and shrauta and so many things to that. We will come to that also a little bit. Reason is, we have to understand this, have this in the background. Don't have rigid ideas. Have some flexible ideas, okay, this may be like this, because, not because so and so is saying, not because I am telling. Yāska himself has said that. And you imagine, today what we are, let it be from Ṛgveda, let it be from Yajurveda, let it be Samaveda, let it be any Gotra, let it be South Indian custom, let it be Saryupian custom, let it be Saraswatas, it has all come through a filter. It is like Ganga flowing from some place, and when it is in Kanpur, it has a different color. Near Haridwar, it has a different color. So we are in such a situation. So today, whatever we are having, it has flown through some filters, intellectual filters. Even before we come to Mahāsalila or Parāśara Tantra, it has flown through the Shraut, the Brāhmaṇa text, the Saṃhitās, the Brāhmanas, then the Upanishads, then you have the Shrauta text, you have the Kalpa text and the Vedāṅga, that is the 6 Vedāṅgas, one of them is the Nirukta. And it has flown through that, and that is more or less what is reflected in all later texts. Let it be Panini, let it be Mahabhashya, we will see some of the references to that also. And our astronomical understanding before Common Era, it has to be in that perspective. So it is important to know at least the name of these texts. Now, what would they indicate? I have just put up the subjects here. Dyauḥ, it is the sky world, cosmology, cosmogony, astronomy, stars, dhruva, sun, moon, planets, eclipses, comets, meteors. All of these are available in the Vedic texts in some manner. Yes?
What is the difference between cosmology and cosmogony?
Cosmology and cosmogony. Oh, I think maybe he may be better to explain that. As I have understood, cosmology is a general word. Cosmogony is the birth, how things came up. Cosmography is the geometry of that. Cosmology would involve all of this and more, whatever you may imagine. That is how I have understood it. Now, cosmography is also there in the Meru and other things, which will come to later. Cosmogony is there, how Śukra was born, how Angarika was born and all that, in the Vedas itself. So, all these are there. Eclipses, comets. Eclipses, Professor Srinivas mentioned in the morning something about the earthly eclipse and other things also. We will come to all of that. Then in the antarikṣa is the atmosphere, what we today call an atmosphere. It includes wind, clouds, monsoons, seasons, rainfall, rainbow, halos, lightning, thunder. Now, some of these may not be so attractive today. We don't talk about thunder. Even the physicists work on thunder, lightning and all that. But in those days, that's a very important phenomenon. So all these are there in the pre-Siddhantic. Astronomy, this is all important. Then you come to pṛthivī, that is day-to-day, our earth, that is on life. Of course, on life you have the language, agriculture, oceans, earthquakes, mountain, geography, religion, art, culture, vastu, shilpa, calendar, mathematics, geometry, measurement. All of this are even today. These three are in fact universal and they continue for all time, for all cultures in all time. Continues today. All these in some manner are already there in the pre-Siddhantic period. We will touch upon all of this. So our before Common Era astronomy is going to be into these things, some of these. This I think we can't see that properly, but I hope all of you are able to see. Now I'm going to show here a caricature. Why this is important today and why IKS division is promoting this and why if we have to succeed in NEP, bringing in Indic ethos or whatever which are being talked about in all political platforms, we have to understand some of this. I have put up a timeline here. This goes to before 3000 BC. And here are some points here, 1500 BC, 500, 1300 CE, then 2000 CE. We are somewhere here. Now, I am making this specific because people are talking about simply go to Gurukula system, you will get everything. You do this, I am doing this, I am doing. So many kinds of things are happening. Will not touch on those things. But from my point of view, somewhere we had this oral Vedic learning, I don't know when. Then Vedic thing was actually observational knowledge and it is a scientific tradition. Science means what? Others can also understand, others also say yes. When the Guru says something, the Shishya will say, yes sir, I have understood. After quite some time, in the Upanishads you would have seen all of that. This is science, that is the tradition. Somewhere around 1500 BC, there were some changes which occurred. From the Vedic oral tradition, you would see a horizontal line here. This is my Vedic oral tradition, which has come up to 2000. Even today, this Vedic oral tradition is there in Bangalore or any place you go in India. They are a Vedic Gurukula. What do? They repeat the Vedas in the same way as it was done previously, as if the Guru Mukhena, and it's a oral tradition is continuing. Now, there are two traditions here. The intellectual tradition somewhat broke up somewhere around 1500, rough figure, and what started Then you had all of these developments, the Vedanga tradition, then slowly around 500 BC, or the Vedic, Buddhist, Jaina, all of this combined. These are all the intellectual traditions which originated from this oral Vedic flow, or the river itself, as you may call it, and they grew kind of thing, and almost exploded around the Common Era. So 500 BC to 800 CE is the best period, you can say, of the developments, intellectual developments, which have happened in India, I am telling. This is all out of this tradition only. Now come here. From the 1400 onwards, of course, we know about Nalanda and Vikramshila, the collapse of all of that, somewhere around that. And then there is a kind of a deterioration, is what I have put up. Deterioration in a broad sense, not in any quantitative statistical sense. I will come to that. Why this was necessary? UNESCO recognized this Vedic oral tradition as an intangible heritage in 2008.
They call it as ITK.
Sorry?
They call it as ITK, indigenous technical knowledge they call it as.
Well, there are so many words which are there, but this, you can see the UNESCO recognition is available on the website itself. This was recognized as the intangible heritage. There are so many other intangible heritages. And you see, in 2016, Nalanda was recognized as a tangible heritage. It is there. It is only something which is remaining in written stone as a ruin. I am not decrying that, please understand. There is a enormous difference between recognizing an architectural site as Harappa or Mohenjo-daro as heritage, absolutely no doubt. But recognizing this is different. Now you look at this, what is happening? This continues. And what is it that the modern university system, or right now the NEP is aiming, it is aiming to connect these two, this tradition with this tradition. Now this tradition may continue just like that, or it may go down. I have no idea what happens to that. Now this you have to bear in mind. I am not drawing any conclusion. I am not a judge. I am not judging anything. I am just presenting this. Now, even in this period, as in the morning Professor Srinivas mentioned, the best of the mathematical things, the Kerala mathematics, the infinite series, calculus, all developed only here, around 1400, 1800. It was a very difficult time for us, and very difficult time for even for South India, because it was in 15th century only, the Vijayanagar, the Talikot war happened, and there was so much of problems with that. Now, one thing which all of us have to think about is how this tremendous intellectual development happened here, and what are the other things which happened, because we are talking about our past and our tradition. The detailed commentary on the Vedas was written in the 1400. Now, you talk about, we want to know, pick up something from the Vedic background. What is the source that is available? It is the Sāyaṇa Bhashya, first and foremost. It was not written by one person, Sāyaṇa, even though we say Sāyaṇa Bhashya. He had 32 people with him, working with, whom he had summoned from all over India, and he wanted the things to be written. It was a very difficult time, but the people who were there supporting him, the kings, they said, yes, this is important. If the country has to remain as it is, or the tradition has to continue, so they gave all jagirs, all agraharas near Sringeri and other places, and they continued that. That is the corpus which we are having. If you want to enter into the Vedic things, you have to go through these steps only. One which is already in 1000 BC, Nirukta. The second, very recent, about 400 or 500 years old, the Sāyaṇa. In between there are others, Bhattabhaskara and others. We will see some of them also. I am mentioning this reason is, if the NEP has to succeed, if the ancient tradition, that is of the intellectual tradition I'm telling, has to combine with the modern university system. There is no way the present university system can be wished out and we convert everything into a Gurukula. That is silly. That won't happen. Let us be realistic about it. So somewhere we have to come together. This is the important thing. If that has to happen, we have to go back and see what was this here. Like Sāyaṇa and his patron, the Vijayanagara kings, the Hakka and Bukka, they promoted him for doing this. Government of India is interested. Now we have to be interested, in going back and then seeing what was there in the Vedas, to understand what is in the Vedas to our extent possible. Now, this is actually the motivation for this workshop. So this figure you please keep in mind. Simply building another Nalanda Mahavihara, putting in crores of rupees will not change, will not bring in anything. You can have very beautiful buildings. You can call them by any name, Varahamira Center, Chanakya Center, and you can, they don't know what Vruddha Garga and Parāśara. Otherwise they would have called it Garga and Parāśara Center, That is the unfortunate thing, Yes, sir.
Garga and the Gargya, you were talking about their same?
No, I will come to it. All tomorrow and day after you are going to listen to me on that, Don't worry, don't be in such a right. You can ask questions in between, I have no objection. Okay, the texts are like this. Now, after this introduction, I think you will be curious to know what are these. The Ṛgveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda, all of you have heard. I need not say anything there. 4 Vedas. These Vedas are classified, or you can say as a subset. There are the Saṃhitās, and then there are the Brāhmaṇas. There are also a substructure called the Āraṇyakas, and then the Upanishads. It's just bullet points. Some people would say Saṃhitā and Brāhmaṇa is sufficient, because the Āraṇyaka and Upanishads are included in the Brāhmaṇa. Okay, that is a trivial detail, we need not worry about it. But the Upanishads, many of the Upanishads, as they are available today, people have shown they are not from the original, there have been interpolations in some of them. Let us not worry about that. We are going into only the most ancient texts. We are not going to study all of this. Don't be afraid. It's impossible because you need a lifetime to do that. But the classification has to be known. The Saṃhitās, the Ṛgveda, we have the Śākalya Saṃhitā. That is the one which is available today. The other Saṃhitās are not available. There is one Ashvalayana which is available, but we have not studied that fully. There is also a Bhaskala Saṃhitā which is available. But for each Saṃhitā, there are the Brāhmaṇa texts. For example, Aitareya Brāhmaṇa, Aitareya Āraṇyaka, Aitareya Upanishad. Aitareya Brāhmaṇa we are going to consider. It is needed in some places. Similarly, you can go to Yajurveda. Yajurveda is a very important text. As many of you may be knowing, Yajurveda is Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. Shukla Yajurveda is practiced more in this north, whereas Krishna Yajurveda is practiced more in the south. Now, this is an enormous text which is available in print also. And in the Krishna Yajurveda, we have the śākhās. All right, we break for tea. Let me finish this, then we break for tea. So you have the Taittiriya Saṃhitā, Taittiriya Brāhmaṇa, Upanishad. Then again, we have the Maitrayini Krishna Yajurveda. It's available. We refer to that. We need in the course. And then we have the Charaka and Katha. These are not practiced by anybody today in India, whereas Maitrayiniyas are supposed to be there near Nasik. I don't know, I have not met them, but I have read about them. Taitiriyas are plenty in south, in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, even in other parts of Maharashtra, Taitiriyas are in plenty. And Ṛgvedis are all over India, people who practice Ṛgveda, I am telling. By that I mean the oral tradition is continuing. Let us remember this. It is not for any vanity or any pride I am telling this. Taittiriya is practiced. Ṛgveda is also practiced. Similarly, Samaveda is also practiced. Some branches of this Samaveda. Samaveda has the largest number of Brāhmaṇas. They contain astronomical information. Some of that I will be referring briefly, and some of them are research projects for you people to take up later on if you are interested. And then there are two branches, the Kautuma and the Jaimini. People who are interested in Vedic studies, they will go into these details. I'm just listing for the sake of completeness. Then you come to the Atharva Veda. Again, there are two branches, Shaunaka and Paipalada. One was practiced in Kashmir, one was more in Orissa. So many things. And Westerners have gone, like Witzel and others, they have worked into these and found out manuscripts and edited them and published them. Some of these are important to us, because the Atharva Veda is, you can see large number of information, not only about Vriksha Ayurveda and things related to Ayurveda, but also about astronomy. So when we talk about Vedic astronomy, these are going to be the primary source subjects for before Common Era astronomy. Let me stop here. We will have tea and come back.
So there is no Upanishads in
Then we will go to the Vedanga text. Yeah. Oh yes, you can ask. Yeah.
This Yajurvediya Charaka, is he anyway related to the Charaka of Charaka Saṃhitā?
No, it's not the Ayurveda Charaka. The names many times repeat, So we have to be careful. That is the question he was asking. When you talk of Parāśara, it doesn't mean always Parāśara is, Vyasam, Vasishta. You should not think about that. These are all Gotra names. There are Parāśara even today. There are Gargas all over India. So you have to be careful about that.
You told certain things will be left for research.
Sorry?
Yes, you told certain things that you are going to tell will be for us to take up research. But I have a doubt that these are from Vedic text and it is allowed to study, or it is not that we have to practice.
No. You can study it. Even people who say that there some people have the adhikara, some don't have. That's why the adhyayana and adhyapana. Now, you see, after the Vedic text, we are coming to the Vedanga text. Vedangas, many of you would be knowing, there are the 6 Vedangas, Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Chandaha, Niruktam, Jyotiṣam, Tata, Kalpascheti, Shadangani. So this Shiksha, it is how to repeat the Vedic mantras, Vedic tradition, which is continuing. There are many books on Shiksha, Granthas, also called the Pratishakyas. They are available in plenty. We are not going into them. There may be one or two information here and there, but we are not touching it. Vyakarana is the well-known, Vyakarana is the grammar. Actually, Vyakarana means literally analysis. Vyakaranam, it is the analysis. That Vyakarana is used in the Mahāsalila for astronomy, actually it is used. So where analysis is the important thing. As you know, Vyakarana, Panini's Vyakarana is analysis only. Chandaha is the meter. Meters are needed, very essential. We will see that not just the Chandas, Vedas are called Chandas, but the meters are important in time measurement. We will come to that. That's also from the Vedas only. Nirukta, I already said how the words come, what is the meaning, etymology. Then Jyotiṣa, that is what we have to study. Now, they are the Vedāṅgas, true. Jyotiṣa is a Vedāṅga. But which is the text, the Vedāṅga text for that? I cannot call Saṃhitā as a Vedāṅga Jyotiṣa, Yamana Jataka as a Vedāṅga Jyotiṣa. No. Even you can say Aryabhata or Brahmagupta, they are astronomical Siddhantas. They themselves don't call themselves Vedāṅga Jyotiṣa, but Jyotiṣa as astronomical or about celestial objects is Vaidika. So it is a part of the Vedas, no doubt on that. But we are not talking of the generalities, we are talking of the text. Academically we are talking. So which is it that can be called Vedāṅga Jyotiṣa? Of course, we know about Lagadha, which has been mentioned. The other two, in fact, our argument is that Parāśara and Mahāsalila, that is part of Vṛdagārga at least, should be Vedāṅga. Now, how do you decide which is Vedāṅga or not? We will come to those things in the next thing. Now, there has been a strong view that Vedas are meant for conducting yajna. Hence, in India, pre-modern and modern writers have focused their study of Vedic mantras in their ritualistic interpretation. So, this is about.
This is only Adhidhaivika, right? This is only Adhidhaivika part of Vedic interpretation. What about Adhibhautika?
What about Adhibhautika? All that comes up. It is not just Adhidaivika. See, Bhautika would be about the pṛthivī.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, it is there. I already mentioned about earthquakes or rainfall and these things. Many of these, actually, the Vedic principle is not disconnected, it is not disjointed. They are all connected. Now, whether you want to call rainfall atmospheric or earthly, it depends on your viewpoint, you know. For the farmer, what falls on the earth is important. For the scientist, what is happening in the atmosphere is important. Now, that is actually a Vedic concept. We will come to that. Now, this is, of course, polemical, what I am writing. It is argumentative. How Vedic text should be studied. In fact, in Satyashrava pointed out that there is a limitation what is happening in India, what has happened also in India about Vedic studies. Satyashrava was a great Vedic scholar, no doubt on that. And he wrote this. This is from that book. That's what I am reproducing. This is available for downloading. There is no difficulty. I want you to download. I sent you a message about S.B. Dikshit's book. Similarly, there are so many others which you can download and read. Interpretation of hymns have been confined only to ritualistic significance. Even from the medieval periods, that is the Sāyaṇa period. You know. That is an important thing, but at least that is available. But it's in the medieval period, whose works are easily accessible to Western scholars. See the argument that he has put up, how in the morning we are talking about narration, and when there is a gap, somebody else fills it up. That narration, how he has got filled up. It was expressed that the hymns are confined to ritualistic yajnas only. Vedaha yajnartam pravrittaha. So Sāyaṇa expressed the same idea in his preface to the Kanda Saṃhitā. Translation of the Vedas as well as writings by these scholars have therefore to be treated as one-sided and incomplete. Please remember this. In fact, this is said by a very great scholar himself. The Vedas have been interpreted only from the ritualistic sense. That is what is being translated, that is what is being taught, that is what is being believed by people. On the other hand, the interpretation of the hymn according to devata, meter, etc. has to be done. What is that devata? What is the meter? Why that meter is needed? That is what he is telling. We will not do all of that, but some points I am picking up. In the Vedic literature, threefold meaning of a hymn is prescribed by Durgacharya and his Vritti. Why Sāyaṇa himself, Nirukta, Yāska himself says this, we will come to that also. And that quotation I have given for the Nirukta. Adhyatma, Adhidaiva, and Adhiyajna. These are the mantranam artha vijñāyante. Vijñāyante, he means we have heard like that. That is the three ways it should be. Durgacharya was a recent person. He wrote a vritti or a commentary on Yāskacharya's thing. So you can see the time difference. This time difference is not a few years, not a century, but millennia. Please keep this in mind. We are trying to retrieve something which is several millennia old. So there may be some questions, there may be some dissatisfaction, and there may be some anomalous thing. There may be some errors also, I don't deny that. But with all that, we have to go further if we want to retrieve that pre-BCE astronomy. Okay. The Nirukta have already said And he uses the word explain. This is all available in the notes. You can read it slowly. You mentioned about the Adidevata. Now, what is the word Divya? Divya is Divyaha, Divijaha. Divyaha, born in the sky. That is the meaning in many places that Nirukta takes. So, born in the sky means what? It may be a parivesha, it may be a halo, it may be an object, it may be star, or it may be something transient also, like a comet or a meteor. It may be something else also. But literally what we can experience, what we can see from the visible side is going to be this. Divya is this. This has continued. Even today if we say, oh God, I look at this sky, something like that. So the devas or something divine is supposed to be in the sky. It is a shining. The div comes from, it means it is shining, From that root only these are derived. Now there are some people who said if it is too much of Sanskrit, they may not be able to understand. But Sanskrit is unavoidable in this course. I can't avoid it. We'll try to build up the two together. Have some patience. If you have any doubts, you can ask. I'm not going to teach Sanskrit here at all. I'm taking it as assumed and proceeding further. If you don't understand everything, don't worry. You have to repeat this several times, then you will follow it. You can pick up what is of interest to you, in fact. So, the 7th chapter of Nirukta is dedicated to explaining the Vedic Devata, that is called the Devata Skanda. 7th section shows that the concept of Devata has numbers as basis. This is an important thing you have to remember. Devata will have some number, Ekadevatya, Dvidevatya, Bahudevatya. That means the 2 devata, 3 devata, multiple devatas. Of course, these numbers are available in the Brihad Devata also, but number is the basis. That you should not forget. And this book is available, translated by Lakshman Sarup. And this is the one which I mentioned in the beginning. There are 3 deities only. Say the etymologist means Niruktas. This comes in the Yāska's Nirukta itself. Agni, whose sphere is earth. Vayu or Indra, whose sphere is atmosphere. Sun, whose sphere is heaven. Somebody asked about dyauḥ, that is there. These 3 are sufficient to the minimum. So there is again a Laghava. The principle of Laghava, which comes in the Nayayikas are fond of it. Even the Vyakarnas are fond of it. Ardhamatra Lagavam. Here it is only 3 is the minimum. You can't reduce it below. And there is nothing to do with monotheism or polytheism here. Of these, each receives many appellations on account of his supereminence or the diversity of his function, just as a priest, although he is one, is called the sacrificer, that is the Hotra, the director or the Advaryu, the processor, the Brahma, or the chanter or the Udgatra. Or else, they may be distinct, for their panegyrics as well as their appellations are distinct. That means the same person can do all the 4, or you can appoint 4 people for the same office to do. So this is how devas have to be interpreted, is what is there. This becomes important later on. You see in the rituals, the Advaryus, the Ritviks, they are all, there is a Ritvik Varanam which is called, they are taken in the name of the devatās, either as a Brihaspati or as Bhārgava or as some other person, which are all celestial. So when in the rituals this is done, you have to see the one-to-one relationship. They are human beings as far as we are concerned. But in principle, they are supposed to represent some other cosmic phenomenon. This is there in the Shrautas and those Mimamsaka texts. Yes? Panegyric is praising, stotra. As to the view that one receives many appellations, on account of the diversity of functions, it may be remarked that many men also can do the actions, having divided them among themselves. So a group activity you can have. Yajnas are group activities actually, With regard to it, the community employment should be noted, as for instance, the community of men and gods with regard to earth. Men, God and earth, this has to be noted. The Sanskrit quotation is there in your text. Community of enjoyment is seen in the following. Why it is a communal, the whole community enjoys enjoyment of earth by the cloud, together with air and sun, and the other world together with Agni. There everything is like the kingdom of man also. That is, in the sky also, there is a similarity with the earth. And that quotation, if you can see, if you open that, you can see that I think it is in the footnote. Yeah. It is hard Sanskrit. You can read it, but this is the translation, the nearest meaning of that, because this is a older Sanskrit. It says the enjoyment or the sambhoga of the sky with the earth, how it happens, and how the literal actions are there. It is rainfall is connected with that. We know that many places in the Vedas, it is said that it is the Vrishana, the Vrishabha, which is flowing its semen downwards, in the modern Sanskrit words if you see. But what they mean is actually a natural phenomenon which is happening, and it's the interaction. And what men can do, gods can do, or the forces which are in the sky can do together, they enjoy together is the meaning here. So keep this in mind. Yes, sir.
This is as per Nirukta, Tisra Eva Devataha. So Nirukta is supposed to be for understanding the etymology of the Vedas.
Not just etymology, to the meaning of the Vedas, because many of the mantras also he gives the meaning.
Okay, so in Ṛgveda only we have other devatas also.
Correct.
So now if Nirukta is saying 3 only, then what about the other devatas which are mentioned in?
He mentioned that 3 are the minimum needed. Okay. Because of the actions of the office, you can have subordinates.
Okay.
Or you can have twins. You can have same action can be done by many people together.
Okay. So
like explanation. These are the important. This is what I call the intellectual theorization also.
Okay.
So minimum is 3.
Okay.
But Agni can have so many others, you know. Okay. Agni had 3 brothers and all that it comes up, you know. So those things are there. And that is the community he brings up. So the same action, sometimes only one can do, but the whole community may also be involved. They will also enjoy. But the community is important in the yajnas, at least as per the practice. That is how the ritual tradition has come. Now, I'm not going into the ritual tradition to say, but some of the astronomical things can be understood better with the ritual tradition, which is still continuing, existing. Like I showed you the oral tradition, horizontal line. The ritual tradition is also continuing more or less along the same lines. So some of it we can see how they do it and why did they do like that. They may not be able to answer. But if you go to the text and see that, you may be able to see some of that. That's all later. Okay. This is what I put up here. The above passage explains the role of a devata is to represent or be responsible for a particular phenomenon. Needs to be a minimum of 3 representing the 3 locations, because we have the 3, which is very clear to every human being as I see. But based on the diversity of action, place, interactions, time, 33 or even more devata may be counted. This is a counting, you know. You have to count how many people were working there, like I count how many have come to the workshop and things like that, you know. So that is the kind of counting they do. Sky is similar to what happens among humans on earth. This is explained further by Satyashrava. Over centuries, the rituals have attained a steady state, is the word he uses, not mine. As seen in the Brāhmaṇa and Sutra texts, with the background sky observation rarely mentioned or assumed to be known to the priest. It is assumed to be known to the priest. You ask them, many of them, they don't know. Today, I am telling. So it is already known to Satyashrava. It is the Adi Daivata interpretation that provides some clue to understand the Vedic sky. Our interest in this workshop is to understand the Vedic sky. So, need not comment on this. If you are interested, you can write arguments against it, that is different. We proceed with this. This is a very insightful statement that names, entities, concepts, principles would be needed to explain the Vedic cosmological worldview. So, the Vedas, if you see, they explain some worldview is there. Kings are there, queens are there, animals are there, so many numbers are there. In the Ṛgveda itself, I am telling. Horses are there, what is the meaning we don't know. We'll say Ashwa, sometimes Vaji, sometimes Hari. Then the Amarkosha refer or something, they will say all are Paryayapadas. Then everything you translate as horse, and where is horse? Then you get into the horse Ashwamedha, and horses came from Arabia and other places to India, and so Aryan invasion should have happened, and in 1200 BC only that was possible. And then Michel Danin and others will oppose that and say no, that Ashwa is different, all kinds of things. And you see in the Harappan things, you don't have horses, but somebody say no, this face is a horse. All these things, confusions happened because we have not understood this. This heritage, this tradition, it has not just been remembered. Large number of people, if they are aware of it, then it goes further. Till about 1000 years back, I think it was all quite strong, but then slowly it deteriorated. We studied 2 or 3 of the instances. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. I will go further. So post-Vedic BC, this is still the first talk on the source text. I should go fast perhaps. Which are the other texts after the Vedas, the Saṃhitā and Brāhmaṇas? Is going to be available literary references show that Parāśara and Vṛdagaga's text, Lagadha also is before the Common Era. That's the Lagadha's Vedāṅga Jyotiṣa. Their dates are fixed by other means. Now, there is no controversy about Vedas being before Common Era. Let us see. Because you may question, how did you take that as this? Where is the date reference for? There is no controversy on that. Maybe based on linguistics. Whether it is 1200 BC or 3000 BC is another matter. But it is before Common Era. But some of the other things, there has been, because of the Western influence and the Westerners taking more interest in these things than us who belong to the system, who are internal to the system. That is what you may call an emic perspective. Because we have lost that emic perspective, we are having problems. Otherwise, I need not stress on this. There is also not just Sanskrit text, there is a Surya Chandra Prajnapti, which is a Prakrita text. There is a Jaina text, that is an astronomical text. It contains quite a bit of astronomy, even though it is not against the Vedic astronomy. There are some principles which are not, but the basic things are similar. In fact, in Mahāsalila, I referred to that. Similarly, there is a Bauddha text called the Shardula Karnavadana. It is not so original, I would say, because it has been translated into Sanskrit from Chinese later on, because it was originally lost for some reason or whatever. But in any case, that also has quite a bit of useful astronomical information, which is late Common Era, I would say, before Common Era, 500 BC onwards, not earlier than that. There are others, of course, like the classical dramas of Bhāsa, which belongs to 300 BC, because they come in the Mauryan period, Like Arthashastra itself is a before Common Era text. It doesn't have weekdays, it doesn't have Rashis and all that. It belongs to the previous era. They also contain some information about astronomy. And then we have the mixed things, the Puranas. Now the Puranas, we have of course the Mahabharata and Ramayana. Generally it is held that historically at least Mahabharata and Ramayana before Common Era, when not go into the controversies right now, it contains some astronomical information. If you want to extract it, you can do that. The other thing is of course the Puranas. The Puranas we are going to refer to Brahmanda Purana and to some extent maybe Vishnu Purana. They are a mixed bag. There is information which cannot be dated to modern era, but which can be dated only to like the Maghadi era to equinoctial full moon. We will come to that in one of the talks, why it is very important. It is the Maghadi era. So Brahmanda Purana is the nearest to the Vedic text. So it is a short Purana. It has 3 parts, but the first part is the oldest. Similarly, the Vayu Purana is also a short Purana. Some of it belongs to the Vedic period, very near to the Vedic period. I will explain why it is so in the next 1 or 2 days about it. This also is a very large corpus. So you want to understand pre-Siddhantic or pre-BC astronomy, we have to study the Puranas. The Puranas have a lot of information. The Meru-centric astronomy, there is a model, a theoretical model, that is described in the Brahmanda Purana that is yet to be extracted properly, not studied properly. Possibly my colleague will make an animation about it, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow about it. We are thinking of that. So where do we stand with reference to the archaeological excavation of the Harappan civilization? It's a question I leave it to you to ponder, because this comes up again and again in my 3rd or the 4th lecture when I do the dating. So the development of astronomy in India from Siddhantic period is very well known. Already Professor Srinivas has touched upon it. But this doesn't represent the whole heritage of Indian astral science. That's what I mean. Because there is also the sky observed by the Harappan, the Vedic people, the Gonds, Bills, Naga and other ethnic groups. That somebody has to do. That folk astronomy is very important. We are not doing that, that's all. So they all knew about suns, moon, star, etc. So the cultural astronomy is the real foundation of scientific Indian knowledge systems or the integrated knowledge system. We are looking at here only from the scientific astronomy perspective. So this heritage is what I have put up is something important that we have to celebrate and continue further. There are some other things we need not go about this. Why study the globalization of Indology, which I think he has already referred, so I need not repeat it. Then how do you do it? There has been actually a caricature of Indian knowledge system today. That's what I have put up, even within India. There's a rampant westernization of Vedic studies. In India itself, I'm not talking about outside. No checks and balances from the source civilization. That's a civilization check is what is needed. There's the intellectual check. People have to look into it and comment, criticize it. Indian knowledge system reduced to body of postures, sculptures, temples, tantrism and caricature. Well, I'm a little bit critical and extremist, but this is the idea which is there. Okay, the result is a loss of identity. Now the objective of this course is very clear. Present a workshop to introduce ancient literary sources to the extent possible, some major and minor Vedic texts, early Puranas, Parāśara and Vṛdagārga and Red Letter. There may be other works which we are not considering in this workshop. I think this is the last one maybe. We have to go to the second one. See, the arrangement for the workshop is like this. Today, of course, because of the inauguration, there has been some shift and disturbance which has happened. From tomorrow onwards, we meet at 10 o'clock. So the timetable is given to you. It is at the end of the book, if you can see that. So we will go as per that, we will have half an hour break and then 45 minutes to 1 hour lunch. Then again in the afternoon like that. In the same way we will proceed. So 9 to 5 is the program. And on Friday afternoon, we have the valedictory, this completion. Gantimurthy has said that he will be coming. I do hope he will be able to come. Otherwise, you people will sing the valedictory song or whatever. But I want a feedback at that time. Even in between also you can write and send me. If you don't want to openly give some comment, you can write and send me the comment. I will not mistake you for that. The idea is to consolidate this. To consolidate this astronomy which was before the Common Era and see what are the general properties of it, the general outlines of it, so that it becomes a source book for IKS enthusiasts to propagate it further. The idea is that. I do hope you are all with me on that. Okay, good. Some very special concepts, like what I have been talking about, the Vedic kind of perceptions. Very peculiar from today's perspective, you see. For them, that might have been the most natural way of doing things. Where to begin? I mean, this has been bothering me for a long time because, as a self-study, I've been doing this. Now, there is one question which has raised about, can we study Vedas? Why not? It can be. Everybody can study Vedas. There is no bar on that. We are studying a text. The bar which is mentioned sometimes as adhikara is for adhyayana and adhyapana. That means traditional way of doing things and then teaching the same thing in the Gurukula or so, because they have to become the advaryus or hotras for the karma kanda and all that. So they have to come in a particular way. Those disciplines are needed. Now about women studying Vedas, my view I can clearly say they can, because many of the Rishikas were what? Women. They could see the mantras themselves and they are so much prized in the Vedas themselves, so why not? Like Gargi and others, they are great people, right? So there should be no bar on studying the Vedas. If we don't study, that becomes only an excuse. Like Stephen Jamieson has translated Ṛgveda, whole of Ṛgveda, better than R.V. Griffith. No, we keep on cribbing and telling this mantra wrongly translated and all that after the work has been done. Why not we do it beforehand? Why not we do it properly? This we have to keep in mind. So when it is globalized and it is happening, let us say that we do it, And again, sometimes some people come and ask me, no sir, only Brahmins are supposed to do it. No, Westerners are doing, why are you bothered about these things? Balandana was only a Vaishya, even as a Maharshi in the 10th Mandala. He was not a born Brahmana. Kausha Ilusha was not. And Kausha Ilusha was hailed as the best among the rishis in the mantras themselves. He only saw the Saraswati Satra, whereas the others could not. That is the story which is there. So all these stories, they are not meaningless. They indicate something to the people who practice. Why did they remember? If they wanted to see that they should be suppressed, why did the Guru Shishya Parampara has continued the Kavasha Ilusha story up to this day? But please remember this. So anybody can study the Vedas, and it is our foundation, it is our duty to do the Swadhyaya. Now where to begin? Should we study text after voluminous text? No, we will not do that. What principle or ordering should we adopt? I mean, in this course I am telling you. Since we are studying the most ancient of the period, corresponding text, it is preferable to speculate what our ancestors might have seen or felt in common. This is the principle I am taking, to pick up a few, because such a voluminous text, there are, as I showed in the previous, there are minimum about primary 150 texts, ancillaries another 100, and subsidiaries, you can say another 100, all belonging to the oral tradition. Even Mahāsalila is a oral tradition text. Parāśara Tantra is also through only oral. Later on, somewhere scripted and written. Then we say the manuscripts. Manuscripts are only 500 years old because they had to be rewritten, copied and all that. But the information is old. So I have picked up only a few. Now, for the layperson, even they are separated from time and place in the Vedic period only. Because don't think all the Vedic periods were living in a particular village. So whole of the 4,000, 3,000 years happened in one village. Don't think like that. Broadly, the centroid is Kurukshetra. Today when we say, particularly for the Shrauta and other rituals. Whereas for the Saṃhitā and others, it is the Saraswati river. The banks of the Saraswati river. The Brahmavarta. And today it's all forgotten because the Saraswati river has dried up. But it is roughly in the Rajasthan, you can say Haryana, Aravali and that region. That's all geographically explained in the Vedas. Not imagining, it is in the geography. In the Veda itself it is there. It is not only Kandahar, Baluchistan, that is what the Westerners would like to say, the northwest of India, all entered from there and all that. No. The Vedic descriptions come up to, in fact, the Gujarat border and all of that very clearly we can see. That the, sorry?
Lothal, Gujarat. That's also another side. Lothal, Gujarat.
Lothal, I cannot say. The word Lothal is not there in the Vedas, you know. Harappan may be there. No. It is, we are looking at the Vedic things. The Vedic things, you have we have Irina. Irina, if there is time, I will do that. There is a Rana of Kutch. Yes. The southern thing you see. Aravali's Arbuda and all of that is there. There is no doubt. Saraswati river is there. That is in the Ṛgveda itself. So in the further Vedas also it is there. Very nuanced, but it is there. You know. It comes up. So it has spread. So when you come to Maitrani and all that, there may be southern influences. But when you come to the Grihya Sutras, definitely there is southern influence. Apastamba Grihya and all that, there are so many other influences. So it is, today it is pan-India. Let us be very clear. But when we search from back, we have to keep these things in mind because it leads to variations. Now, the preliminary study, what are the references? I have given a set here. I already asked you to download Dikshit. You might have done or you might not have done. But if somebody wants to know more, you can go through this. All of these are anyway available. Where do we start? It is from the creation or cosmogony, it is better to start. Because this is what S.B. Dikshit has started, you know. Because in all the Vedas, or even as human beings, we will ask, when did all these things start? What is Srishti? So it may be better to start from there. Now, very interestingly, I quoted that, it is there in your thing. Dikshit says, the work of that kind had never been done in Sanskrit. That means the book that he has written, which he wrote in Marathi, he did not live long, I think only 40 years or 45 years. His dates are available. He wrote it for a prize, a competition. Eventually he got after some 5 years or so, not beginning. He gives all the details in that book, you have to read it. And you can see the passion and the emotion with which he has written. He says very clearly, the work of this kind has never been done in Sanskrit. Because, you know, it was in the 1880 he was doing that work. So Sanskrit tradition was the best tradition in those days, intellectual tradition. So for him and for his peers, clearly in Maharashtra he said, anywhere in India it has not been done because Sanskrit traditionalists were not interested in this kind of work, in comparative work, between comparing one with the other and trying to come to a new understanding. So his is the first work, that's very clear, you know, of this kind. So he goes through that and he first starts with the origin of the universe. Why he seems to be doing something very interesting here. Look, our own Vedic people were interested in the Ṛgveda and all of that. What is the origin of the universe? They questioned. Today you don't question it. Today I am only translating that, whatever is done, and everything is being done by outsiders. The question about origin of the universe or whatever. And today we are only quarreling about the Panchanga and about whether Ketkar is right or whether Tilak is right, whether Sāyaṇa is right, whether Vakya Panchanga is right or Siddhanta is right. Many serious questions which are done long time back. And he says this kind of work not been done in Sanskrit at all. So he wrote in Marathi, later translated to English and some other languages. Available in English. I don't think it was translated to Sanskrit at all. Unfortunate. In fact, maybe we should tell the CSU people, if somebody can translate it, it may be useful. Because the Vedic astronomy, who should own it? The Vedics, first thing is they have to own it, and all of us have to own it, That's what he means there. But unfortunately, in the 130 years, there has been no text on Vedic astronomy. Yeah, there is nothing which has come up. Only what he has written in part 1 is only part. You can see there are a large number of gaps, many things which he has not touched upon, many things which are very hazy, because he wrote it for some particular purpose. His second part is, of course, better. But that has been taken up by so many others, including Pingree, Nagabaur and others, trying to point out the holes and picking holes and some other kind of history. But of course, today, the moderners like Srinivas and his group, they are going with the source history, going into the Kerala mathematics, editing, and recently Professor Sriram edited the Siddhanta Shiromani, one of the best books in Indian astronomy, of the Siddhantic astronomy. That has been done, So now it is changing. There is a new perspective which has come. We should not limit ourselves to what some Westerners have said, and with that, but we have to go into the sources ourselves. That has been the concept. Now, this is the mantra 10.72 in the Ṛgveda. This is available in Dikshit's book also, which I have reproduced there. There are many interesting things here. That itself says, Purve Yuge, says. The devas started something in previous period. What that previous year, it may not be available, it may not have said. What is the length of the yuga, it has not said. But it is already some imagination, some kind of model is there. And it goes further to say that there is one word which comes there, of Uttana Pada, which I have given there in the further commentary. I have also given the translation of that hymn by Griffith. I am showing this not for any other purpose, but interpretational difference. Now, Griffith translates in one way. In an earlier age of gods, from non-existence, something started, etc. Earth sprang from the productive power, the regions from the earth were born, it says. Now, Uttana Pada is the word which is there. The earth, Bhur Jagya Uttana Pada, the mantra is there which comes like that. The Bhumi came up, or the Bhu, what we call earth, from the Uttana Pada. Now, what is this Uttana Pada? Sāyaṇa says they are the vrikshas, because the trees have their thing at the top, he says. So that is the Uttana Pada. You can see the Sāyaṇa Bhasha. I don't think I have given that. Can I get a copy of the notes? Yeah, it is there. Can you locate it? Page 7 of my notes. That is, the mantra is given at the top, and then the translation of the fourth one, which is as per Dikshit, the Uttana Pada gave birth to the earth, which in its turn gave birth to directions. Daksha was born of Aditi, Aditi was born of Daksha. This is the translation of Dikshit. Now, Griffith doesn't translate it. He says the productive power. That is because Sāyaṇa gives it as they are the trees which have grown up. That is how the earth has come up initially. It was the trees. Now, these things have to be sorted out. I'm not telling who is right, who is wrong. But Uttanapada is a word which some of you would be remembering, which would later on in the Purana, Uttanapada was the father of Dhruva and all that, And Dhruva is important as the pole point fixed with the earth. And there is definitely a connection in that. In here, figuratively there is a connection. Maybe Dhruva is not mentioned. It becomes a complex thing. It's cryptic and it's also codified. Also it's secretively put there. Then what is the next one? Daksha was born of Aditi. Aditi was born from Daksha. How is it possible? Now, if you see the Sāyaṇa Bhāṣa, you will all say, special devatās, they had this special dharma. So the devata dharma, all this is possible, something like that. Then as a questioner, you would say, who is Aditi? Then who is Daksha? Now there is a story about Daksha Prajapati getting 27 daughters and giving in marriage to Soma and all that. So these issues are actually astronomical. If you take the perspective that it's astronomical, you will get a meaning. You will see their perspective. If you can align yourself with that. If you don't like, you should not. You understand this. There are some people who will say, no, it should not be done like that. They are sacrosanct, I don't believe. Okay, don't. Leave it. But if you want to extract BCE astronomy, this is important. Otherwise, how does direction start from there? And there is no controversy about Asha Ajayanta, which comes there, Bhurjagna Uttanapado, Bhuva Asha Ajayanta. Everybody says, even Sāyaṇa says, the directions arose out of that. How does the direction arise come like that? It is something to do with the intersection of Daksha and Aditi. Because one is born out of the other. One cannot remain independent of the other, let us say like that. See, the older tradition, in the Vedic tradition, it is the father or the parent, son, pautra, that kind of tradition is there. So anything which is born out of something, started out of something, is called the son or the daughter of that, or the progeny of that. So like Samvatsara and Vatsara. Vatsa means a calf. So the calf comes out of it, several calves come out of it. It may not that it is going to be an animal which is producing that. It may be simply the years which are coming. So the way of the Vedic language is very peculiar. It doesn't fit with our kind of extremely materialistic point of view. I'm not materialistic in a negative sense, I'm telling. We are objectified people. Everything want to see objects like that. For them, even sound was an object, light was an object, thoughts were objects. So they name all of them. Any object has to be given a name. The abhidhana has to be done for any padartha. That is in the Nayayika principle only. Without that, you don't do. All cultures were like that. If they wanted to define several months or so, they would give different names for them, different names for the people, different names for the trees, things like that. The same thing in the Vedic thing also has happened. So Aditi and Daksha, later on people have commented, even Tilak, even Dikshit himself, Aditi refers to the ecliptic. Because the Aditeyas are coming from there. Aditi is infinite, Aditir Mata. It comes up later on, it comes in so many places, it comes up. Maybe. But from this mantra, I cannot argue that. It seems to be like that. What is Daksha? Daksha is the Aksha. Daksha, they have translated it as more or less always as something which is disciplined, which is well-established kind of thing. That is, one who has an Aksha is the Daksha. That is how it has come up. Now, aksha is going to be something which is axis, or the I, also has an axis. There is going to be the etymological thing. But you can't derive that exactly in the same way. But it could be the equator or whatever, what we call today in the aksha, akshamsha, something of that kind. It could be. It could be the aditi is going to be the path of the nakshatras and the adityas who are in the path of that. And the other one is the daksha, which is fixed for all of us, precise, that we can see. One is born out of the other, that is the two are intersecting maybe, From the ecliptic, the equator is born. From the equator, the ecliptic is born. Without one, the other cannot be understood. That is a kind of obliquity, what we call in modern things. Did all this arise here in the same period? I cannot say. In the 10th mandala period. What was the 10th mandala period? Oh, you have to go into the Vedic dating. So we have to say that there are the family mandalas of the Saptarshis. Then in the first mandala and the last mandala are supposed to be later. First is Shatarchina. Last is going to be a combination of many of them. So on and so forth. And get into the difficulties of the 10th mandala being either 1500 BC or 1900 BC. I will not do that. But generally it is said 10th mandala is later than the other mandalas. We will come to that later if necessary. Now, I spend time on this because you have to understand this. Now, there are other things also which I will quickly go through this. Tell me when it's nearing 5 o'clock, we'll leave some time for questions. Now, is this the way the creation happened? What is given in the 10.72? There is differences. If you see the Hiranyagarbha Sukta, there is something which comes. If you see the Asyavamiya, there is also something which comes. That is also about the past. But where is the standard? Is there any standard? That means all of this gets some kind of a fixed approach in the Mahāsalilam text. When you come to the Mahāsalilam, we will see that, but that depends on all of this only. Now, Hiranyagarbha Sukta gives something. Now, Purusha Sukta gives something else. What was the original thing? How did it happen and all that? So, the cosmology or the cosmogony is not something which we think it should have been. We have to see what they have given and understand it in a proper way. I have quoted one from Shatabada Brāhmaṇa, because the creation is not just in the Ṛgveda. Apava idamagre salilam asit, it comes even in the Yajurveda. And this water was salila in the beginning, it says, that is the meaning. Is salila and water same? Today we use it as the same, as Paryayapada. Originally it was not that. You have any question, madam? You have any question? Yeah, please stop discussion among yourselves. It disturbs me. Sorry to say that. Now, the Shatabada Brāhmaṇa gives something, it says only manas was there. And that is what I have quoted in the end. Neva idamagre asadasit, neva sadasit. Asidivava idamagre nevasit, tadda tan mana eva asa. It was neither sat nor asat. It is sadasad vilakshana, you can say. What was there in the beginning? It was only manas. Don't ask me whose manas is that. In the consciousness, you can say the Brahma's, whatever it is, that's all what it says. So this difference of opinion, not difference of opinion, because it's a large amount of thinking. 100 people think, they would say in 100 different ways. That is the nascent growth. It is the nascent growth of thinking, of culture, of civilization. That is represented there. Fortunately, it is preserved to this day by the oral tradition and later on by the printed tradition. And that is what we are discussing.
But this is also there. Nasadiya Sukta, again.
There are differences. So similarly, it goes further. I have given 2 or 3 other things for how number enters. Now in 10.72 itself, concept of numbers come up because Purva, then Triyuge Pura. These numbers are slowly coming up everywhere. And I have quoted a few more here. I can quickly go through that. That is about 30. 30 is a very important number for us. And that 30 comes up here in Sadrshi Radhya Sadrshi Anavadhyaha Trimshatam Yojanani Ekaika Kratam Pariyanti Sadhyaha. I quoted that in the second one. And to understand that is going to be a description of sun in easy Sanskrit. This is what I have put up there. I don't know whether I put it up here. I think I did not put it in the notes. Should not matter. Anayataha anibaddaha katha ayam nyang uttanaha avapadyatena kaya yati swadaya kaha dadarsha divaha skambaha samritaha pati nakam. This is the mantra. And the Bhashya of Sāyaṇa I have given below. It's very easy to follow this. That V represents the original word for which the meaning is given next. So don't get confused between the superscript V which is given there. V Nyang Avang Mukaha. That is the meaning which is given there. He asks, how does sun stay in the sky without any links, anibadha, which is not tied? How does he live? How does he not fall down? How is he running? This is the question. The answer is also there. Kaya yati swadhaya. That is the meaning which is given here. Kaya yati, how? From whom does he go? Swadhaya. That is the meaning. Now swadha, he interprets here in the Vyakhyana, if you see the Vyakhyana, Swada Shabdo Annavachi, Atra Tatkaryam Balam Lakshayati. So the word Swada he uses as meaning Anna. Reason is very clear, is the Yajnika meaning. You remember Swaha Swada, even in Vyakarana it comes Alam Yoga Chad. Vashat, they are all for Chaturthi Vibhakti. That's what you have to use. Now, Swadha is also there when some particular rituals are done, not always Swaha. But Swadha literally means what? On his own. Tridha, Chaturda, 4 ways, 3 ways. Now, Swadha in his own way. He is there. Now, in the Yajnika meaning, of course, he will give you Swadha means Anna, because Anna is put for Swadha in the ritual. It's a charu, which is given. And that represents the bala, that's the strength, because Anna gives the bala to everyone. That is some kind of cosmic Anna and the cosmic bala that he talks. Whereas in the yajna, it is going to be the representative thing. So if you handle this properly, you will get meaning. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. You may say, how does Surya eat Anna? How does Sāyaṇa say this as Anna? It is all wrong. Yes, you may take that view, I don't deny. But it's very clear here.
Anna, actually, the Nirukta definition, if you go, Atyate Aticha Annam.
No, the thing is, these Vipattis are all later.
Yeah.
Now, that Vipatti may mean even for this. There's a cosmic thing. If you take it in a cosmic way, there may be no problem. Later on we will see. This is very important, but if you say Atti, where did the Dhatu come up? Is it pre-Ṛgvedic or is it from the Unadi? Unadi is later than Panini. Or then you go into Kashika. It becomes all a mess. Then you come up to the 18th century Siddhanta Kaumudi. You will not be able to sort out. We should not go into those things, That is where the weakness of, sorry to say, some of the modern Sanskrit scholarship has gone. Either they go in this way or in this way, not focus towards what is needed. That is purely astronomical, I am telling, not in otherwise. Well, anyway, I just wanted to show that it is not in your text, in the notes. Okay, this is important. I don't think I've given this. Max Muller, I was talking about the Saṃhitās. Ṛgveda was a Saṃhitā. Now we come to the Brāhmaṇas. Brāhmaṇas are very important texts. Now Max Muller, a great scholar, and we know that he's, even in India, Max Muller, Bhavans and all that were established his name. Very unfortunate, because the Sanskrit scholars of those days did not know anything really about the Brahmanas. They simply praised Max Muller because he printed text in Sanskrit and all of that. And he said the Brahmins are all originally Aryans who came from steppes or somewhere from Germany. So these people also felt happy and said, yes, we will have Max Muller Bhavan kind of. Very awful, in fact. We will not go into that. Max Muller says about the Brahmanas, a theological twiddle-twaddle. And he says, childlike in their simplicity and wonder, and primitive in their savage worship of idols. This is what he has written from his book I have taken. Yes, to him it looks savage. Vedic texts, they do sound childlike, like you saw the previous one. How does sun move? A child also asks that question. It is childlike, it is not childish. When he says swadhaya yati, it is not childish. There is already some other meaning of attraction, repulsion, and the same thing may apply to even the planets and others also, which have been taken over by the Siddhantic astronomy people. Say it is like a magnet, Earth is standing, like the magnet stands, Earth is also standing and all that. Those questions come up and answers are also there. But the links are very weak and forgotten. And of course, Yāska is a famous statement. It says, if the blind hits against a column, whose fault it is? Is the fault of the column or fault of the blind fellow, or is the fault of the person who created the blind fellow? You can't say this. So if some mantra is not understood, like even Yāska period, Shakapuni and others, they said the mantras have no meaning. And Shakatayana wanted everything to be derived from only the dhatus and all that. He says some of them may be like that, not all of them may be like that. So these controversies are there. This is another important thing to remember. The controversies are good. And that has been retained in our tradition. Only later they wanted to make siddhantas. That means the end. But in the older time it was not like that. The intellectual tradition grows with difference of opinion and dissent and questioning and answers. In the Vedas itself there are difference of opinion. Not just this. Later on there are quarrels between Paingi and Kaushitiki, how to define Chaturdashi, how to define Darsha. All this comes in the Aitareya Brahmana itself. Such differences were there. So let us take this forward and see the things in our perspective. This Brahmana thing is very important. This is from Shatabata Brahmana. I will not read it at all fully. If you people are interested, finally some extract of the slides may be given to you later on. You may see that. Some of it is there, some not all of them I have reproduced. This is about an altar which had to be constructed in Shatabata Brahmana for Agni Chayana, where sun has to be represented by 360 bricks. That word 360 comes up here. The numbers I am showing here. It is here you can say Adityo hi Agnischitaha tasya dishayeva parishtritaha taha shashticha Trinicha Shatani Bhavanti. There are going to be 360 directions. Now you see that it is a circle. There are 360 directions and it is constructed on the altar of that kind for some particular purpose. And it goes further to say that in between the 360, you have to put a purisha. That means some kind of sand on the thing. Why? Sun, even though there are 360, in between also it is full. It is not just there are only 360 rays like this. In between also it is full. So that continuity you have to show. Now imagine, A circle has 360 degrees. That is what we all say, and that is used in later Siddhantic astronomy anyways, Amsha and all that. But they also have the minutes and seconds there. It's not simply the degrees. So there are subdivisions. The question is going to be how many, how fine you have to go, whether it is continuous or discrete. The basic issue in modern mathematics or in our scientific issues, when we do, how many divisions I make? I can divide 1 centimeter into infinite number, 100 centimeters also into infinite number. So the Sankhya, Sankhyeya, Asankhyeya, Parimana, Prameya, Aparimita, Ameya, all these things come up. All these things are there in the Vedas. Later on, this also comes up in the Mahāsalila in a very indirect way. So everywhere it is a question of discreteness versus continuity, because it is a measure. So the concept of measure is here already. It's in so many other places, but I'm just showing one where numbers come into picture. So when there is a number, your antenna should go up and to see what is there. Is there something else, deeper thing behind the story is what you have to see. Now, about sun in the Aitareya Brahmana I have given. I think this is the one. Udityam Jata Vedasam, occupied. Okay, this I already covered. Okay, let me go further. Chaturbhi Sakan Navatinchan. Okay, this is about Vishnu. He is again going back to the Ṛgveda. It is also there, maybe in some other order it may be there. Okay. Yeah, this is about Vishnu. Chaturbhi Sakan Navatincha Nabhabihi Chakram Navrittam Vyati Ravi Pat. Something it comes like that. Chaturbhi Sakan Navati is a number. Now, how do you interpret it? Is it 94? Chaturbhi Sakam Navati, 94. Sāyaṇa takes it as 94. How do you interpret Vishnu? Because the devata is Vishnu, in the beginning it is said. We'll take it as Vishnu. Now, Sāyaṇa's thing is going to be, it is Kalavachi. Maybe it is Kalavachi. So, 94 avayavas of Kala are added. Like, 12 masas, 27 nakshatras, then 6 ayanas, and all these numbers are added and you come to 94. Looks a little bit awkward. Because it is the vrittam, chakram, it's all there. It's something circle. Now, if you see the Jamison's translation, the recent one, that lady has said with with the 4 times 90 names. That is how she translates. He has caused the paired horses, that is the days and nights, paired horse, he says, to quiver like a wheel set rolling, having a lofty body measuring out the realms. There is a measurement there. Something it is very it is in the sky what is happening. So this devata, whoever he may be, is in the sky. It is about a body and it says it is Vishnu. The youth who is no boy returns to the challenge. Okay, whatever it is, it's a literal challenge. So time is up, 5 minutes more, okay? Now, do you translate it as 360? She does it as 360, 90 into 4. But if you do it as 360, what do you get out of it? You may get a circle, maybe nearer to that. It is a relational. So it is a kind of a correlation that people look at if you want to make a meaning. It may be true, because the poets, they may be imagining, they may be seeing, they may be doing whatever it is. It will be something related to their own life or their own ecosystem is the feeling. This kind of difficulties are there. I will not be able to sort out every such difficulty. It will be left for you to do. Now about sun, is it heliocentrism, somebody was asking. This is in the Aitareya Brahmana, that sun never rises, sun never sets. It is there. And in this side it is dark, on the other side it is light. That's the mantra which says. Now, true, sun doesn't rise and set. They all knew about it. But this side and that side is what? One side it is dark, other side it is light. Now, how translation I have given? Because that is the only translation which is available easily on the archive also. It appears to be the Meru-centric theory. So in the Meru, we will see later on, even in the Puranas it is there, when the other side of the Meru, it is dark on one side, because sun is on the other side. So the Meru is supposed to be an imaginary thing which obstructs the light. And hence it becomes dark is what is said. But in any case, there can be difference of opinion here. But this mantra has been taken over in the Mahāsalila, where instead of the 2 dvipas, they introduce 4 dvipas. It is not simply the morning and the evening. Here it is only the morning and the evening. Morning it is seen here. Night it is on the other side morning, and this side it is night. That is what it says. Doesn't exactly say what it is. Whereas in the Mahāsalila, there are 4 dvipas, and it is not just morning and night, but also the midnight and the afternoon also come up there. So we see the development of that. We will see that. In the Mahāsalila book, it is there with you. You can read it there. So this is the, okay. Then the further cosmogony, again, we will, when we come to the Mahāsalila, we will understand it much better, which I have given in the notes. You can see how the is this in the same thing or previous one? Okay, if we can't cover this, we'll continue with this tomorrow. Yeah, this was the one which I think I have given here in the notes. That is how the objects, the celestial objects got created. First, Aditya, that is the mantra which is there. Yad retasaha prathamam udadipyata. Then tad asau adityo abhavat. Dvitiyam asit tad Bhṛguhu abhavat. Tam varunaha arunonya grinhita. Tasmat sa Bhṛgur varunahi. It goes like that. The creation of Aditya, Bhṛgu. Bhṛgu is Śukra. Then Angirasa, Guru. It goes like that. This is from the Brāhmaṇa. In the Mahāsalila, it put in a slightly different way. But this kind of creation, that is the cosmogony, is there of the celestial objects. So I think we are coming to the end of today's program. You have any questions you can ask. I had just quickly see the other two, what is there. Prajapati's choice of 15 and 30. We will come to this again. It's a very important thing for Shatabata Brahmana. It is the preliminary arithmetic from which I think they would have all learned the multiplication tables. How to factorize 720, number 720, dividing it by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So it is there. It is a long legend. It is called the Prajapati's legend. How did Prajapati sit in a box of 15? That is the length of the paksha, you can clearly see. There are 2 pakshas. Why 15 was important? Now 30 we have seen already in the Ṛgveda, Trimshat Dama. Trimshat is only twice of 15. So each day has 30 muhurtas. Why? Because Prajapati sat in 15 and the pakshas are 15 days. Prajapati may be a representative for moon, or moon may be a representative of Prajapati. You have to handle all of this as multiple meanings which are simultaneously coming up into the mind. And since there are 15 and 15, day also can be divided as 15 and 15. It is, anybody can, you could have had it as 100, but it is 15. Now 15 is the Prajapati's number, it has to be taken. 17 is also for Prajapati, there is another matter, but 15 is there first. And these numbers have been attracted the attention of people for a very long time. Oh, it got skipped. I don't think I have added it there. that is a table by ಅದು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬೇಡ. There is a EJVS paper. EJVS is Electronic Journal of Vedic Society, from Harvard. It's an online journal. EJVS. Electronic Journal of Vedic Sciences or Vedic Society, some such name. Edited originally by Witzel. I think he may be still editing that journal, I have no idea. There is a paper. You go to the next one. This one. Sorry?
A lot of controversy of itself.
The number symbolism in the Vedas by S.N. Murthy by JNU. JNU, is there anybody here? Oh, you are from JNU. Okay. Are you aware of Murthy? Maybe he may be retired, I have no idea. He has written a paper. It's an interesting paper, but the conclusions are not correct. He seemed to have a kind of a Witzelian interpretation for the numbers, but he has tried to collect the numbers and what they mean literally as warriors, as cows, and all of that. But the Ṛgvedas have so many, more than 100 numbers are there. And all of them, they will have both ordinal and as well as cardinal numbers are there. Fractions are there. Many people have not looked at it correctly. Ardha Deva is there, So these things have to be seen in the right way. This is the last one or the next one is there? Okay. This is about the time measures. The 15. The importance of 15 is because of the sexagesimal system. The sexagesimal is supposed to be base 60, supposed to have come from only Babylonian, because Siddhantic astronomers used only 60 and all of that. That 60 is because only 30 into 2. And the 60 Gatika is actually Nadika. Nadika is equal to Gatika, but Nadika is different. Nadika was measured in the outflow clock, Jalayantra, whereas Gatika was measured in the sinking bowl. Is important. We will come to it in another talk. So you cannot say that all of this was come from Babylonia, because the numbers may be same for everybody all over the world, because numbers are universal, or the number concept. This is something which people have to think. With this I close. The thing is, we talk of knowledge as Parapashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari and all that. After all, we are doing in Vaikari, we are expressing. But it comes from something else. Now, what about numbers? Whenever you see something, you grasp 1, 2, 3, a multiple. Not necessarily in English. You can say ekam, dve, trini, or vandu, yardu, muru, something like that. That happens in a different way, and that is universal knowledge. If you want to verify, you can give a sum, a simple multiplication sum, something like 220 multiplied by 13. Give it for people to do that. They will do it in their own language, which will be in the Madhyamika or somewhere. But the answer, even if he says Chinese, he will give the same number finally. So that number thing is very important. That has been understood in the Ṛgveda very well. And that is brought forth in so many places. And if we miss that, we miss both mathematics and astronomy. This has to be borne in mind. And we miss also, perhaps, music later on, which has come from this, and also the Vedanta, which has come out of it. So we should not miss that. So this discreteness, this continuity, this numbering, and the concept of measure, something which is mana, pramana, maya, all these things from the Ṛgvedic period, we should not ignore them as something figurative, neither in English nor in Sāyaṇa Sanskrit, but go deeper into that. With this I close. You have any questions to ask, you can.
I have one question. If the numbers are so detailedly covered in Ṛgveda, so the zero was there even before that.
What was that? Yeah.
It's not.
No, that is true. Numbers would have been there. No,
otherwise, these kind of complex.
Yeah, that is true. So they're self-existing. numbers are self-existing. That's all what I can say. It doesn't need anybody's thing. It is a self-existing. You have to use it.
Sir, you told about Ṛgveda in your first lecture. One is probably popular in Odisha and one is in Kashmir. Which one is popular in Kashmir?
The Saṃhitās. I think it is the Shaunaka is from the Kashmir region.
Thank you.
That is what I understand. Sudarshan there?
And this Atharva Veda has no Upanishad.
Sudarshan, he didn't come in there. Okay.
Atharva Veda has Upanishad.
Yeah, yes, Pravesh Vyas.
In this list.
This list is connected.
I can't hear you.
In this mantra you said that this Bhṛgu is devas. So how do we know that this Bhṛgu is Venus only?
What is that?
In this mantra you said that
Bhṛgu
is Venus only. How do we conclude
Bhṛgu
this?
is Venus only. How do we conclude?
Yes.
Well, this is an important problem, no doubt. Who is Bhṛgu then? We have to question. We may not be able to conclude, we can question. We will question that. Now in Mahāsalilam, Bhṛgu is going to be Śukra. Prathamam ajayata, he says, the first. And Grahanam Varaha something it comes, is the first, foremost, after sun, is Bhṛgu, is going to be the Venus. Now Bhṛgu can be an anthropological name, the name of a person. Now this is another thing which you have to see. Good you rise. Agastya, Saptarshi, Vasishta, Atri, Bhṛgu, Kutsa, Vasishta, Gautama, Kashyapa, Angirasa. These are supposed to be the 7 rishis. Saptarshi. Were they only stars or were they also rishis on the ground? Same name would have been given to them. Now, can we accept it? Taittiriya Āraṇyaka says, yes, it is like that only, it happened. We'll come to that. So if you see from that angle, many of the rishis, names which you use, the same names were given to some particular objects. Similarly, Bhṛgu, Angirasa, Bhṛgu referred to Śukra, and Angirasa referred to Brihaspati or Guru. Now the multiple names are there, same because of the actions, as Nirukta says, the same person may be having different names because of different kinds of properties and actions. Now the final analysis has to be in a particular mantra to decide is what was the action, what was the location, what was the number. If these go together, you can see it has to be a celestial object. That is how we can come to a conclusion. That is at least the approach I propose in this course. I will show you how that comes up also. But this Bhṛgu going to be very important. Is Bhṛgu same as Ushanas? Bhṛgu same as Kavi? So many questions are there. Yes.
Sir, you just touched upon the Srishti questions that came up in Nasadiya Sukta, Rasyavami, Purusha Sukta, and there some explanation is there. But all these are not same as per my understanding.
All these are?
They are not giving the same type of...
Yeah, exactly not same.
Not same. So with that, from astronomical point of view, probably that understanding would have been evolved over the time. So is that which one was the basis?
It is in your book, Mahāsalilam read. Okay. Mahāsalilam gives a reading up to at least that period.
Okay.
What was the view that they had, the rishis had?
Okay.
It is there in the Mahāsalilam.
Okay. So next question is again Aditya came first and then Bhṛgu. So there is a concept of Dvadasha Adityas also. What are those Adityas? Is it...
Yeah, you have to apply the principle I said, the same person can have 12 different hands, can do 12 different actions kind of thing. That seems to be the thing, at least as per later interpretations. Dvadasha Adityas. There could have been difference of opinion. You see this, how it develops. As per one Aditya, Aditya itself means from Adi, from the beginning somebody who was there. Is it the sun which we see in the sky? No idea, maybe. You can call him the proto-Aditya, the proto-sun. Maybe you can call. Then what was there after that? Some people might have said, no, he divided into 2 or 3. Even today people say when from the black hole it separated to the solar system, there was another sun also. The cosmologists, they propose such kind of thing. There are such proposals here also. And later on, the 12 Adityas, they say it is the name of the months. The same sun, in the different months, he gets a different name. That is how it is said. So you have to choose. You can choose what you want. You can have Aditya Nama, you can have a Ashtotara Shatanama, you can have a Ashtotara Sahasra Nama. Exactly that. That is what is happening.
One last question.
Yes, sir, please. They can continue the questions even tomorrow. There's no problem.
Sir, one thing, this first Aditya came, and after that Bhṛgu and Angiras it is written. So Bhṛgu, you told that it is Venus, then Angiras is generally, this Mars is called Angaraka and associated with, Angiras.
Please repeat your question. Aditya came first is what it says.
After that you told Bhṛgu. Bhṛgu signifies Shukra.
Shukra.
Then Angirasa, it is Mars. Because Mars is always called Angaraka.
Angaraka is different. Angirasa is Brihaspati only. You see that if you read Mahāsalila, it would be more clear. Okay, what it means, because there have been too many questions on this, let me explain and stop. It says that there was a big sacrifice. Sacrifice is a homa or a yajna. Who did the yajna? It is Brahma who did the yajna, or whoever was the first person. Where did he did the? It is again a story. He did in the Swaha. In the first Swaha, Aditya came up. And then what happened? It went on burning, burning, burning. It all became, later on it says, Angara Abhavat. Angara is coal, burning thing. Angara only remained. After some time, he once again had an homa. Ajya he gave. From that, Bhṛgu Abhavat. Then again Angara Abhavat. The remaining Agni became coal. It stood like that. The third one again he did, became Angirasa. And then still it remained. Then Kashyapa was born. That is how it continues. Angara means only fire, you can say, or coal. So the sequence is some kind of Vedic thermodynamics, you can say, imaginary kind of thermodynamics. What is needed? Some original thing, Swadha. Don't question that, whatever it is there. It comes up in Mahāsalila, that book, it is there. Heat is needed, the tapas. So he says, Brahma tapo atapyata. So he did tapas. So we think that he closed his eyes and sat as per the Purana, for 1,000 years he did tapas. Yes, it also says, tapah tapyata, for 1,000 years, sahasra samvatsaram tapyata. After that he did this ajya. So that means what? It is something like a cosmogony. There was something, you can say, gas or whatever. It was so hot. And out of that hot substance, something separated out. But the substance remained still red hot. For another 10,000 years, something else happened. That came the second planet. That is how we have to take it. Angaraka is different because he remained as the red one. He is called Angaraka. That is Mars later on. But the birth of Mars and those things do not come up in the Veda in this direct way. In this, there itself it is not there. It is the Shukra and the Brihaspati which are there, because they are the brighter ones, are the brightest objects. So those two are mentioned directly. But in other places it comes. So again, don't try to combine. In one Veda it is said, so that should be the last word. It is not like that. There are differences. You take the overall common factor, that common factor is there. That will work throughout. Thank you. We meet tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, and go further, okay? So you can briefly go through the notes and the books also. The next one, yeah, you have to make some announcements. Go ahead, go ahead.
A small announcement regarding tomorrow's tutorial by Sundar sir.
So for tomorrow, we'll be using stellarium. I'll be demonstrating using stellarium. And by the end of the course, if you are familiar with stellarium, you can observe the sky yourself at your own pace. So to that extent, if you can install stellarium, first, the easiest way to do it is on your phone. If you're an Android phone, it's very easy, also on iPhone. And easiest way to use it. If you want a very rich experience, then you can use your desktop. So I don't know how many of you have desktops. I'm assuming all of you have phones, so I would encourage you to install it. I'll put the link in the group. And you can install it, and we can actually, in the class itself, we can spend 5 minutes playing with it. Thank you.